Hello and welcome to the Justice Factor. Wasn't it fantastic? Didn't you enjoy it? For 5 months now, we have seen our democracy at work. Politicians who usually pass us by in their blue light convoys were finally with us. They were begging for you, the voter, to put your X next to their leaders' faces. Did they succeed? Did they convince you to vote? Or did they bore you so much you just want to stay at home on Wednesday? Today I'm going to ask branding expert Thebe Ikalafeng and eNCA senior reporter Thulasizwe Simelane what their thoughts are on the leaders, the messages, and the campaigns of the political parties. After that, I'm going to ask Tselane, Vice Chairperson of the Electoral Commission of South Africa, whether his institution is ready for Wednesday. After that, our loser and winner of the week. But first, branding expert Thebe Ikalafeng and eNCA senior reporter Thulasizwe Simelane join me to discuss the political campaigns. Guys, welcome to the show. Thebe, let me start with you. I mean, what did you think of the quality of the campaigns? You've been watching this. Were they convincing? Which one stood out for you?
Well, I think it was incredible and dynamic campaign season. I think we saw the best of people who have no money like EFF and the worst of people who've got money like ANC and the Democratic Alliance. But I think overall, it was an incredible season of campaigning. Some of them were very clear. I thought EFF was very clear in terms of targeting and in terms of message, in terms of what they want people to believe about them. I thought the ANC was generally presumptive because, you know, I think it's typical of an incumbent and an organization that big to just go with the basic, to go with the conservative. And of course, DA being the opposition was provocative, as you'd expect.
Thulasizwe, I was with you in Mbombela when the ANC launched its manifesto. What did you think right from the start when that manifesto was launched up to Sunday when we were at the Siyanqoba rally? Did you think that this campaign is the kind of campaign that gets people out on Wednesday?
Well, I tell you what, Justice, there are a few things that worked for me with the ANC campaign. One of them being they segmented their target audiences in terms of who do we want to target. And I remember hearing conversations at Luthuli House when I was there for one or other interview and hearing the team planning that, you know, this weekend we need to hit the club scene. They had a campaign for the club scene that they're going clubbing. They had campaigns for car washes, that we're going to car washes. We're going to hit that. President Zuma was on the train, not for the first time, but was on the train and interacting with audiences there. So at a certain level, and also I liked the fact that the ANC flatly refused to respond to any criticism. Well, you know, they did respond here and there, but Jackson Mthembu's standard response was, we are not responding to anyone. We have a good story to tell. We are moving South Africa forward. That is our message.
Thebe Ikalafeng, we have a good story to tell. That's a line that keeps on resonating across the nation now. It doesn't just belong to the ANC.
I love that line. I thought I agree with Thula that when it comes to a line that worked for the whole campaign, it worked well. You know, as a ruling party and with a 20-year track record, the best thing you can campaign on is your track record. And very few people will argue with the ANC that South Africa is definitely a different place, a better place than it was pre-94 and to what it is now. It may not be wholly so for everybody, but in the whole, it's a better place to be, and it's a good story to tell. And South Africa is a better place. So I think that worked.
And sometimes sometimes that's all that's needed, you know, for the voter to remind them of how far they've come. But I wanted to add, while we're talking about the payoff lines, wasn't it amazing how Isafani actually caught up at a very late stage and became so popular that people were adapting it and sort of using it in different
I saw
contexts.
the ANC was taking it over
suddenly
as well.
became very popular towards the end.
It did. There was a lot of innovation, which I liked. But let's look at this clip of the DA, of an incident concerning the DA and Ahang. Let's look at this now.
It is with very great pleasure and excitement that I can announce today that Dr. Mampila Rampili has accepted the DA's invitation to stand as our presidential candidate in the 2014 general election.
Thebe Ikalafeng, 6 days later, that was it. It wasn't there anymore. Did it damage the DA campaign?
I think it derailed it a little bit. It slowed it down, but I don't think it necessarily damaged it. I think what it did do, it finally buried Mampila Rampila's name, as Helen Ziller puts it. Because I think there was a bad start to start with. She couldn't pronounce the name. So, but I think it killed Mampila Rampila's campaign completely. But it also killed her reputation, which was the difficulty with this. Because, you know, she started off badly to start with. She shouldn't have gone into politics. She should have stayed in as a civil society campaigner. She should not have launched a party, and she should not have gone to the DA. And when she went there, she killed the credibility, not just in politics, but everywhere in leadership. So now which board member is going to appoint her to her board?
Oh, well, you never know. Thulasizwe, would you agree with that? Let's talk about Dr. Mampela Rampela in particular.
I partly agree, but I mean, you know, for me, this was a spectacular own goal by the DA. I mean, what more can you ask for in terms of the ANC? Immediately, within hours, the ANC was talking about rent a black. It was a new catchphrase that, you know, we're not like other parties who need to go out and outsource a presidential candidate. Your presidential candidate is the face of your campaign. This is the person you put on your posters. So for a good 6 days, the DA and Ahang were probably working on the same page and saying that they're going to put Mampela Rampile on their posters, and it just didn't work out. It was an own goal. Yeah. They've tried to downplay it, but I'm still not convinced.
It's a moment in this election. Now let's look at another incident that nearly derailed the ANC campaign. Let's have a look.
We have already informed you that the Minister of Police was asked to sign a declaration certificate that asked the President to pay, but no follow-up was done to make sure that the President paid.
Thebe Ikalafeng, Nkandla, has it done any damage whatsoever to President Zuma and the ANC's chances?
The little elephant in KwaZulu-Natal, or is it the big elephant in KwaZulu-Natal's room? Well, I think the ANC has been very good in terms of managing the Nkandla, but I think in the beginning it was a terrible way in which to work, because the challenge for the ANC as well has been that they have wanted, contrary to what you said, is the ANC wants to respond to everything that the opposition puts on, and they want to use the court as well as the DA uses the court. And by doing that, you prolong the idea, you keep it more in the media, and you cause people to ask questions, why are you defending it and all those. But I don't think in the main, because I think, you know, as has been said in many times, to the majority of South Africans, Nkandla is just a small little place in a village in KwaZulu-Natal. And President Zuma has been able to explain it away. You know, you saw when he explained it in Zulu, that, you know, he completely disown any responsibility as far as how Nkandla happened in the first place.
I just want to get Thulasizwe's very quickly your assessment of this, given that you listened to President Jacob Zuma on Monday morning when he explained Nkandla away.
Well, that for me was another moment. I mean, you had a situation where the ANC had sort of put its message on the table to say that we agree there was overspending on Nkandla. We agree that there may have been people who inflated costs, and therefore those people must be dealt with. But President Jacob Zuma is cleared by this report. Then you have President Jacob Zuma using phrases such as, Nkandla is not an issue for voters. I've crisscrossed everywhere. It is an issue for clever people.
Does it hurt him? Does it hurt his election chances?
I think the choice of words, I liked how genuine and also how detailed his response was, but the choice of words, clever people only care about Nkandla. Very difficult.
We're running out of time. Let's look at the EFF and one incident in its campaign.
The National Coordinator Ramagata has received a letter from SARS that is under investigation. Kenny Kunene has been told he too is under investigation from SARS. All along, these comrades were never investigated. But now that they've taken a political stand, they receive all sorts of love letters reminding them of possible investigations.
Thulasizwe Simelane, does it resonate at all that this is a man with tax problems, with legal problems?
Well, what the EFF tried to do with this was turn it around, not to make it about the particular individual concerned, Julius Malema and others, but the message of we are victims of a party that is in government that is abusing state resources to pursue political agendas. They saw it at play, you know, when President Jacob Zuma was going through his own problems, you know, when he was under Thabo Mbeki, that, you know, it worked at that particular point that I'm being victimized. They went for the very same message. You saw even the court appearances of Julius Malema. They became political rallies. This was their strategy.
Thebe Ikalafeng, you've got 10 seconds. Tell me what you think that has done to the EFF campaign.
EFF has run the most focused campaign. They don't have much money, but they've got the biggest idea in this campaign. I don't think it's done anything to the EFF campaign at all. I mean, they've done an incredible job. To me, if you look at the three parties, Ramphele is the political faux pas of the year. EFF is a political revelation of the year, and ANC does what a good, solid party should do.
And they're going to win. Thulasizwe, Simelane, Thebe Ikalafeng, you've been fantastic. Thanks so much. After the break, we ask IEC Vice Chairperson Tselane if South Africa will have a free and fair election on Wednesday. Stay with us.
News that moves. eNCA.com.